today we'll be crocheting this cute turtle mug rug, which is a quick and easy project. It can be completely no-sew, though I will say this is one of the rare projects where sewing pieces on is easier than the no-sew method. So I do recommend sewing for beginners, though I'll demonstrate how the no-sew method is done here. The free written pattern is available on my blog, which is linked in the description box below, so you can follow along with it. Anyhow, I'll be using cotton yarn in this video, so you can actually see the stitches, since fur yarn in the original design is hard to see and demonstrate through video. Due to the different yarn weights, the hook sizes will be different, so be sure to take a look at the materials section next. For the head, we're going to start off with a magic ring. In the magic ring, you're going to insert 8 single crochets. Use my slip knot to start. And I'm going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 single crochets. And then I'm going to tighten the ring. Now let's go ahead and proceed with round 2. For round 2, we're going to increase all the way around. So going into that first single crochet here, I'm going to insert 2 single crochets. Oops. Didn't quite put my hook into the right spot. There we go. So into that first single crochet, I'm going to increase. That's putting 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And I'm going to do this all the way around. After increasing all the way around, you will be ready to start on round number 3. For round 3, we're going to single crochet 3 and increase, repeating that 4 times. So here, I'm going to start in that next stitch and single crochet 3. 1, 2, and 3. And in that next stitch, I'm going to increase by putting 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And let's go ahead and repeat that around. Single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and increase. Let's repeat that again. Single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and increase. And last repetition, single crochet 3, and increase. Once you finish that round, you're ready to start on to round number 4. For rounds 4 all the way to round 6, you're simply going to single crochet around. You're not adding or decreasing any stitches here. So I'm just going around. We're doing straight rounds here. We're just going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. And let's go ahead and meet back when we are done with round number 6. Here I have round number 6 complete, and we can move on to round 7. For round 7, we're going to single crochet 3 and then decrease, repeating that 4 times around. Let's go ahead and start. We're going to single crochet 3 first. That's 1, 2, and 3 single crochets. And then we're going to decrease. You can do a regular decrease or you can do an invisible decrease if you want. I'm going to do an invisible one because using cotton yarn, your stitches are very, as you can see, the stitch definition is really clear here. So doing an invisible decrease will make it less obvious. So to do an invisible decrease, insert your hook into the first front loop of the next stitch, then insert your hook into the second front loop of the stitch after. So we're going to crochet these 2 stitches together. Yarn over, pull through both of those front loops. Yarn over, pull through both of those loops. And that makes an invisible decrease. Let's keep going and I'll show that again. We're going to single crochet 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do another invisible decrease. We're going into the front loops of the next 2 stitches. So into that first front loop and into that next front loop. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Yarn over, pull through both loops. All right, that's my second repetition. Let's do my third. 1, 2, and this is my third single crochet. And now I'm going to invisible decrease again, inserting into just the front loops and pull through, oops, like so. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to decrease. At this point, you can go ahead and put in the plastic safety eyes. I put in 9mm eyes between rounds 5 and 6. So counting from the very beginning, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So right between 5 and 6 is where I stuck the eyes, and I put them about 8 stitches apart. You can do 8 or 9 stitches. I think both look pretty good. And you will want to use larger eyes if you're using bulkier weight yarn. So for instance, my original turtle made here with bulky weight 5 yarn, I used 12mm eyes, so it looks bigger here. All right, once you have the eyes in place, go ahead and just put in the backings for those. Now we're ready to continue with round 8. For round 8, we're going to single crochet 2 and then decrease, repeating that 4 times around. So here's what it'll look like. First, single crochet 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to decrease here by stitching those next 2 stitches together. Let's repeat again. So single crochet 2, 1 and 2, and decrease. And repeating that all the way around. Now for round number 9, what you'll do is single crochet and decrease all the way around. We're going to repeat that 4 times, and once the hole starts getting smaller, as you can see here, it'll be a good time to put in the stuffing for your turtle's head. So let me just go ahead and get that starting yarn tail in really tight. It was coming a little undone here. All right. And let's go ahead and stuff the head. Here, we're going to single crochet and decrease around. Now with this round complete, we are almost there. For this last round, we're just going to be single crocheting 2 and decreasing twice. That'll give us 6 stitches at the end. So let's go ahead and start. Single crochet 2, that's 1 and 2. And now I'm going to decrease. And I'm just doing a regular decrease here because it gets pretty tricky to do invisible decreases when the hole gets small. Now last repetition, 2 single crochets. And here is my decrease. All right, and that's that for the turtle's head. You are going to either, if you want to do the sewing version, fasten off with a long tail for sewing. If you want to do the no-sew version, you don't have to fasten off with such a long tail. You can fasten off with just a bit of a tail to weave in later. So I'm going to demonstrate the no-sew version on video here. So I'm just going to fasten off with a bit of a tail that I'll weave in later. But if you feel more comfortable sewing the pieces on, you can just leave a long tail as mentioned earlier. All right, let's go ahead and make the flippers now. For the flippers, you are going to size up with your hook. I'm using a 5mm here. I used a 3.25mm earlier for crocheting the head, which required tight stitches because that's the only piece that requires stuffing. So there's that, but go ahead and size up. If you're using Feels Like Bliss yarn from my original design, you would be using 4mm crochet hook for the head, and you'll be using a 6mm for the flippers, shell, and the tail. So basically everything else is 6mm. Now, since I used, instead of 4mm for the head, I used a 3.25, I'm sizing up just to a 5mm. All right, let's go ahead and get started on the flippers here. For the flippers, we're going to begin with a magic ring. And in the magic ring, you are going to chain 2. So here's my slip knot and 1 and 2 chains. Then you're going to insert 12 double crochets into the magic ring. So let's do that. 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, once you've finished inserting those double crochets, you're going to pull on the yarn tail, your starting yarn tail, to close up that magic ring. And we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first double crochet. So getting in there, I'm going to make a slip stitch. Now, for the next round of the flippers, round 2, we're going to fold this circle in half, and we're going to be turning it into the front flipper. So folding it in half, you're going to start off with a chain. Oops. And then we're going to crochet the front and the back stitches together. So going into that front, I'm also going to go out the back here. See, as you fold the circle together, you'll have it double layered. So we're going to increase all the way across. In that first stitch pair, we're going to insert 2 single crochets. Now let's go into the next stitch pair. Going into the front and the back, we're going to increase again. and all the way across. So putting 2 single crochets in each stitch pair. All right, when you finish the semicircle here, you can go ahead and fasten off with a long tail if you're going to sew it onto the shell. If you plan to do it the no-sew version, like what I'll demonstrate next, you can fasten off with just a little bit of a tail, not too much, and that'll be enough. We're going to weave in that tail later. Repeat these instructions for the second flipper. Now onto the back flippers. Again, use the larger hook for the back flippers, and you're going to start off round 1 with a magic ring. Inside the magic ring, you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2 chains. Then you're going to insert 8 double crochets into that magic ring. So here, I'm going in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And once that's done, pull your ring tight. You're going to want to insert a slip stitch into that first double crochet. To join the round. And that's that. For round number 2, we're going to chain and then we're going to decrease all the way around. Then join with a slip stitch to the first decrease. So going into the 2 stitches, I'm just doing a regular decrease over here. 1 decrease. 2 decreases. 3, and lastly 4. And now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to that first stitch I made. There we go. And again, you will want to fasten off with a long tail if you want to sew your flippers onto the shell. If you don't want to sew on and you want to do it the no-sew method that I'm showing you in a bit, you can just go ahead and fasten off with a little bit of a tail, which will be woven in later. All right, you're going to make 2 of these little flippers, the back flippers, and you can also pull that starting yarn tail in so it doesn't get confusing here. The part where you decrease with those 4 stitches at the very end is a part that will be attached to the shell. Now it's time to crochet the shell. I'm using the larger hook and some brown yarn for this part. In a magic ring, you're going to chain 2 and insert 12 double crochets. So here, I'm going to start off with a slip knot. And now I can begin my chains. 1 chain, 2 chains. And let's go in for 12 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. After you do your 12 double crochets, you're going to tighten the magic ring. And then we're going to join that round with a slip stitch to the very first double crochet that you made. There we go. Now for round number 2, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to increase all the way around with double crochets. So in every stitch, we're going to insert 2 double crochets here. 2 double crochets in that first stitch, 2 double crochets in this next one, 2 double crochets here, and all the way around. Here is round number 2 complete. Now for round 3, you're going to chain 2, insert a double crochet, and then do a double crochet increase in the next stitch, repeating that all the way around. And like the previous rounds, we're joining with a slip stitch to the first stitch, excuse me. So here I chain 2, and then I'm going to insert a double crochet in the first stitch, and then increase in the next. So here are 2 double crochets. Let's repeat that. Double crochet in this next stitch, and then insert 2 double crochets in the following stitch. And repeating that all the way around. Here's a look at round number 3 complete. For round number 4, what you'll do is chain and then single crochet 2, increase, repeating that around 12 times, then joining with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Now, if you want to, if you do it that way first, you are going to be sewing your turtle's head and flippers onto the last round. But if you want to do it the no-sew method, I'm going to show you how to crochet the last round, round number 4, while simultaneously joining all of these pieces. Here I've got the turtle's pieces ready to go. As you can see, the shell is the centerpiece, and we're going to go ahead and attach the pieces to the shell using a no-sew method. It is going to be easier to just sew them on to where you want it to go, but if you want to do this no-sew method, you can do it this way. So I'm going to be single crocheting 2 and increasing all the way around in this round. While doing that, crocheting the pieces directly to the shell. So each piece, we're going to put it kind of upside down, facing into the shell, because after we crochet it together at the very edge, it's going to be flipped over like so. Let me show you how that's done. So for the first part here with the head, I'm going to insert my hook into the first stitch, and we're going to do single crochet. Then in the next pair of stitches, single crochet in that next stitch in the shell. Oops. Sorry, picked up the wrong stitch there. And then in the last pair of stitches, we're going to single crochet in that next stitch. And this is where we need to increase actually. So after you single crochet the head to that last stitch, we're just going to go next to it, going into that same stitch and finishing with an increase. We don't want to put the increase stitch inside of the head because that's going to kind of make it imbalanced and make it look bulky. Now let's keep going. So we're going to single crochet 2. And in this next stitch, I'm going to attach the flippers. And going in here. 1 single crochet, and I'm going to do the increase in the next single crochet of the flipper, but going into that same stitch in the shell for my increase. Like so. Single crochet 2, increase, single crochet 2, increase, so here's how it's looking so far. And I'm going to attach the legs pretty soon. Single crochet 2, increase, and here I'm going to attach the legs with, or the back flipper, sorry, with 2 single crochets. As you can see, I'm placing it inwards onto the shell. Single crochet 2, and increase in the next stitch. Then a single crochet 2, increase, all right, keep going, single crochet 2, increase, we're going to go ahead and add in the second flipper there, the second back flipper. So holding it facing into the shell, go into the first stitch pair, single crochet 2, and increase in the next stitch. All right, and now single crochet 2 again, increase, single crochet 2, and here's where I'm going to increase with the next flipper. So I'm going to position it. Let me see. So here's how I want it to look facing out. So I'm going to face it inside on my shell and attach my yarn. Let's go ahead and do an increase here. 1, and then going into that next stitch, go right back into the same stitch for an increase. And we'll keep going around, single crochet 2, and an increase at the end. Finally, you've reached that last stitch. We're just going to join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. And that's that for your turtle mug rug. We are going to fasten off and weave in all these ends right now. Now, after you've weaved in all the ends, you can go ahead and add the tail to your turtle. I'm going to find a stitch between the back flippers, so around here, and then you're going to attach your yarn. Oops, maybe here. And the tail is going to take up 1 stitch of space. To begin, you're going to chain 2, then do a triple crochet in that same stitch. So yarning over twice, insert hook into same stitch, yarn over, pull through a loop. And we're going to go through 2 loops at a time. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch all in that same stitch. After you do that, that is the tail, and you can go ahead and weave in the, or fasten off, and weave in those ends. Alright, and that's that. You are all done with your cute little turtle. As you can see, you can crochet it with a no-sew way, or you can sew the flippers on if you'd like to adjust the position better. My turtle here was made with Like Bliss yarn, which gives it a nice furry look. Definitely very cute. And this one I used cotton yarn so I could show you the stitches and how it looks as you crochet. Like Bliss would be very difficult to actually see the stitches on camera, so I hope it was helpful for you to see how the cotton one worked up. Alright, thanks so much for watching and happy crocheting. Bye now!